I'd like to call to order the City of Douglasville City Council Legislative Work Session for tonight, which is Thursday, September the 27th. Our invocation will be done by Minister Madeline Hubbard of the Crawford Chapel United Methodist Church. We appreciate you being always ready to give answer for the hope that lies within. And after that, we'll have our Pledge of Allegiance that will be led by the Mayor Pro Tem Richard Siegel. Please stand for the invocation.
Mayor, it's Pastor Madeline Hubbard. I pastor 2 churches now, so y'all pray for me as I pray for y'all. Let us pray. Heavenly Father, we come this evening, first of all, giving you honor and thanking you for this day. Lord God, there's work to be done. And Father, we are now calling upon your holy name. Father, I ask that you will be with our council, our mayor, and all our chairpersons here tonight, and each individual that is present tonight, Lord. I ask now that you will lead this meeting, Father, whereto you will be able to get all the glory. And Father, I ask that any questions that come up and that anything that happened, that we will all be on one accord. And Lord, I ask now that you will just bless our mayor and bless all our council people who are working hard for this city, and bless all the residents who are present at this time. In Jesus Christ's name I do pray. Amen and praise God. To the flag of the United States of America, to the republic which stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Thank you so much, Pastor Hubbard. We appreciate you. And thank you, Mayor Pro Tem, for leading us into the Pledge of Allegiance. We'll now go to the announcements and presentations, and we don't have any proclamations for tonight, so I'll just go over briefly our protocol. I'd like to welcome you again to the City of Douglasville City Council regular meeting, legislative work session meeting. Items discussed tonight will not be voted on. There are meetings that this meeting will just take the items into consideration for our meeting on Monday, where we will vote on those items. We'll ask if you come forward, that you give your name and address for the record, and if the items that you're here to discuss is not an agenda item, there will be ample time under citizens and delegates, and you can come forward at that time and give us your name and address and discuss those items if they're not on the agenda. The committee chairperson for the agenda, the committee chairperson will handle their items. We ask that you would come forward. Each person has 5 minutes to present. There are 30 minutes for, 30 minutes against. We ask that your comments will be done on a professional level and that you will not have any attack on any individual or individuals or group of individuals, and that you'll bring your items forward during that time and address your questions to the committee chairperson. That person will handle those agenda items under their committee. If you deviate from those being orderly, which we know everyone will be, we'll give you a warning, and after that, we'll ask that you be removed from the premises this evening. But we hope we don't have to do that. So at any rate, that's it. The agenda items will be handled by the chairperson. Address your items to the chair. It's not a debate, a question and answer. You just present the information. We'll probably ask questions for clarifying information for the council to make their decision on Monday. And if you have any electronic devices, cell phones and tablets and all of that, we ask that you'll please put those in silent mode so they won't be disruptive during the meeting, or turn those off until after the meeting. So now we'll go through the agenda. The first agenda item is from the Public Safety Committee. That's chaired by Councilmember Samuel Davis. Oh, he isn't here, the Vice Chair.
Vice Chairman Watts is not here either.
He sure isn't.
So the other committee
Public
members are
Safety
Miller
and
RC.
Councilman Miller T., would you handle Public Safety, please?
Thank you, Madam Mayor. There's no items under public safety tonight.
Thank you so much, Councilman Miller. We'll move now to Community and Economic Development Committee. That's chaired by Councilmember Mayor Pro Tem Richard Siegel.
Thank you, Madam Mayor. I am here, and I do have several items. The first item is to authorize the mayor to sign a contract with Goodwood Mills and Kaywood Incorporated for closure of 3 underground storage tanks and environmental reporting for the city's old jail property.
Mayor and Council, as you all may remember, about a month or two ago, I came before you to seek an approval of a contract regarding Phase 1 of the environmental study. This will handle Phase 2 of the environmental study for the old jail site, as well as removal and closure of the underground storage tanks. It's 3 tanks along with pumps and product lines that a licensed geologist will be on site to help oversee those closure activities as it relates to the Douglas County Jail.
Comments or questions from Mayor and Council? Not hearing any, I'll move on to the next item. That's to authorize the mayor to sign a contract with Tunnel Spangler and Associates Incorporated for continued site planning and preliminary architectural design for the old jail site.
Good evening, Mayor and Council. Thank you
Good
for the
evening.
opportunity to present. I spoke with you last Thursday regarding this, last Monday regarding this item, and wanted to get approval to sign this contract with TSW. As you know, they did work with us on the downtown master plan. This is part of Phase 1, and so we'll be looking at the green space along with the amphitheater.
Thank you. Any comments or questions from Mayor and Council? Hearing none, we'll go on to the next item. Enact Section 74.7 of the Streets and Other Public Places Ordinance to provide regulations for cantilevered structures to be built over city-owned property on O'Neill Plaza, Plaza East, and Plaza West.
I spoke with you too regarding this item a few weeks ago. This basically came about because of the Robinson Building here on the plaza. We did look at, as you recommended, for structures that are not placed on, the poles that are not placed on city property, that we would waive whatever fees that would apply to the cantilevered balconies.
Comments or questions? Yes, sir.
Yes, Mr. Chairman, then that means that we are in agreement with what we have done already for Irish Red Pub in the past, them having a large balcony with legs protruding down to the ground. So we're still
Correct.
treating them fairly and at the same time waiving the fees if the balconies do not have legs protruding down to the ground. Is that correct?
Correct.
In
And this
layman's
would
terms.
apply for future development as well on Plaza East and West.
Thank you.
Anyone else? Madam Mayor.
Thank you so much, Mr. Mayor Pro Tem. I did have a quick question from our Assistant City Manager. Is this for the height one as well? When things were, Mr. Aaron sort of was hit his head walking. Is this what this was too?
I think this would also clarify the height requirement as well.
Okay. I'm sorry that you have a confused look on it. We had something that was kind of low in the city, and Assistant City Manager and Mr. Sorowitz was walking and he hit his head because he was taller than whatever was hanging down. It was one of the lamp posts or something we had in the city.
I think this says a minimum of 10 vertical clearance feet above the paved finished area.
So it would cover it.
Yes, I was sharing a funny story with Madam Mayor earlier today regarding Mr. Sarris hitting his head while we were walking, so.
Taller than the thing. Okay, thank you.
Thank you.
Mr. Mayor Pro Tem.
Any other comments or questions? Hearing none, we'll go on to the next item. Item D, authorize the mayor to sign a sponsorship agreement with Google Incorporated to present the 2018 Georgia Gravity Games. Ms. Jackson.
Yes, sir. Thank you, Mayor Pro Tem. Again, this is another routine item. As you all know, every year we have the Georgia Gravity Games, and it's co-sponsored by Google, the City of Douglasville, and Georgia Tech. This is another routine document. Google provide sponsorship contribution to us in exchange for a few items that we provide to them, kind of providing trash cans as well as staff time, city TV time throughout the game as well. The games this year will be held, of course, downtown again on November 3rd. Are there any questions?
Anyone? Questions, comments, exclamations? Madam Mayor.
The only comment I would make is that I'm excited to, if the council gives me authority to sign this agreement. It's so well attended, and it involves all of the schools in the county, elementary, middle, and high school, and private schools, and homeschoolers even. And so now it's really have legs, and it's gotten on to other entities. The Water and Sewer Authority decorates a car, and it has water drops. And so it's really exciting to see young people come together for these gravity games, and I really enjoy that and appreciate the opportunity for Google to participate with the public, private, and governmental partnerships. Thank you.
Anyone else? Not hearing any, I guess we'll go on to the next item. And that is to authorize the mayor to sign a strategic alliance memorandum with the United States Small Business Administration, pledging cooperative efforts to start, maintain, and expand small businesses.
Yes, sir, Mayor Pro Tem. This was brought to us by Representative William Bodie. He's asking all cities in his district to sign this agreement with SBA. This is basically, it serves as a great service for us to provide resources to those small business owners, as well as women business owners, to provide pamphlets, brochures, as well as resources and grants, and become a partner with SBA. So when business owners come into the city, we can provide that information to them and refer them to the SBA.
And we have several small business owners sitting up here, so I know they can attest to how important this is. Small businesses are the backbone of our economy, depending on how you define small. We're talking 60 to 80% of jobs in the U.S. are with small businesses. So comments or questions from Mayor and Council? Well, not hearing any. If there's no objection, I would like to put all 5 of these items on the consent agenda for Monday. All right, that's all I have, Madam Mayor. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Mr. Mayor Pro Tem. We'll move on to Planning and Development Committee. That's chaired by Councilmember Mark Adams.
Thank you, Madam Mayor. We have a couple of items tonight under Planning and Development. Item A, refer to the Zoning Board a proposed ordinance to amend Section 2.04.03 of the Zoning Code Ordinance to allow property to be zoned to R4 as a base zone within DCD developments, to enact subsection 3.03.07 to require a traffic study for certain applications for DCD zone property, to enact subsection 5.03.02B11 to refer to requirements for traffic studies, and to enact subsection 8.197.01A to define traffic study. You do have couple of attachments there for us to review, and Mr. Schaefer is going to address any questions, and hopefully he will explain this and make it very easily understandable to our
Mr.
audience.
Chairman, thank you. Phil Schaefer, 6701 Church Street. I'm a zoning administrator. Madam Mayor and Council. So this is an attempt for us to try and help put the R4 back in with a very defined set of rules as to what will happen when you invoke an R4 and a DCD together. We wanted to make it available, but we only want to make it available as part of the DCD district. It will not be on its own. It will only be allowed as part of a design community development. And within that arrangement, we wanted to make sure that any development that came before you all would have a traffic study invoked should the impact of such a development be at a certain threshold. And so we've added the definitions of the traffic study. We've added some of the components that they'll have to address so that they can come before you and you can make an adequate decision based on information that is factual and that you can, in fact, evaluate yourselves. So that's part of why we put the traffic study in there. But this is strictly to clean up. There was a little, I guess when we were cleaning up the facade ordinance, somehow the R4 got moved a little bit in a way that prevented us from ever using it after a certain date. So we're correcting the way it's worded that would allow it to be placed back in there. And if you have any other questions, I'd be happy to address them.
Thank you, Mr. Schaefer, for that update. I know that was the reason that we were having to look at this again, because we did have a situation in an ordinance change that actually would not allow R4 zoning at all. And so we need to get it back into the code, and this way we have some stricter controls on it to assist with requiring traffic studies as a part of a DCD zoning. Any question or comment from council? Yes, Madam Mayor.
Thank you so much, Mr. Chairman. I just wanted to thank you and Mr. Schaefer and the department for being very comprehensive and bringing this option back to the table to help development as we look at, of course, the old jail and the North Side study and all over the city, and how we can be
Things are happening.
creative, how we can be creative in those ventures. So thank you so much for putting time into this, Mr. Schaefer, and thank you, Mr. Chairman, for leading
Thank you.
that. You're welcome.
Other comments?
Mr. Chairman,
Yes.
does this Does this pertain to any active application?
Currently, no.
Okay, good.
Others? Okay. Thank you very much. We'll go on to item B. You may want to hang around, Mr. Schaefer. I have a feeling we'll need you. Consider a request for approval for a development plan for McDonald's USA LLC for .75 acres at 9502 Highway 5, located in land lot 160, District 2, Section 5, Parcel 57, for plans dated August 10th, 2018, application by Lorraine Wynn with Access Infrastructure. Is Ms. Wynn available? If you would, please, ma'am, come forward and state your name and address for the record. Tell us about your project.
Sure, it's actually Teresa Curry, 1111 Cambridge Square, Alpharetta, Georgia. McDonald's is in the process of remodeling all of their existing stores. Hopefully you've been in their Chapel Hill one. That's kind of their new look. They're getting rid of that red mansard roof and kind of going more modern and neutral. So this is the one on Highway 5. This is slated for the next remodel, and we'll be implementing the same thing, getting rid of the red mansard roof, painting, new dining room, new play toy, new restrooms. I don't know if you've seen the elevations. And
We do have renderings on our laptops here to look at, but you're welcome to turn that around where we can see it.
Okay.
Is it Ms. Curry? Ms. Curry? I apologize, Ms. Curry. I did not know who would be here, and I should not have assumed that you were Ms.
Nope,
Wynn.
yeah, Lorraine filled out the application, so that's the name you have.
So would we actually be seeing basically a similar facelift than what we saw on Chapel Hill to this location? Is that what we're
Very
doing?
similar.
Okay.
Yep.
Go ahead. I'm sorry.
Yeah, so it's the same type of building with the indoor play place. This particular one has an upstairs dining area. That's going to go away. In order to make it ADA compliant, you'd have to install an elevator, so we won't be doing that. And it will just become storage. But other than that, it will be very similar to the one on Chapel Hill.
Questions or comments from Ms. Curry? Yes, Madam Mayor.
All the questions tonight. Welcome, Ms. Curry, and thank you
Thank
for coming. We're excited about renovations to the McDonald's, of course, on Highway 5. And I would love to hear about future, maybe on Fairburn Road and Hospital Drive. What
Yep.
about that one?
Actually, the vision for McDonald's is to have them all completed by 2020.
Oh, great.
So it's called Vision 2020.
Uh-huh.
So hopefully by the end of 2020, all their stores in the southeast will be remodeled.
It's great news.
Yes.
Thank you. Thank you, Mr. Chairman.
Other questions, comments? Yes, T. Miller.
Yeah, thanks. Mr. Chair, what, you look like you're still retaining that two-story atrium in there. Is that going to be still part of the playland, or what is that?
Yes,
What that is?
yeah, but we'll
Okay.
have a small play toy and then dining area on the first floor, storage on the second.
Is there no way that the great minds at McDonald's can come back, bring the arches back in some way?
Oh, like the old vintage ones?
Yes.
Yeah, we have a few of those left, but they're definitely going more neutral and.
There's got to be some way you can figure out how to incorporate them into the modern design.
I agree. I think they're great.
We're on the French fry box.
Other questions or comments? I must ask this, Ms. Curry. Mr. Schaefer, I know that they have completed the Chapel Hill location, this being very similar to it. Just want to make sure that the development plan is in order and there are no problems with any part of it as far as facade or finishes.
No, actually, we worked quite a long time to get this correct because there were some small issues of facade requirements, but non-conforming structure, given the new look, we had to come to an arrangement of how you look at remodeling of a non-conforming structure. Our code currently requires the non-conformance be evaluated on value. And so the new remodel is less than half the value of the original structure as if it were built today.
And this is the way this was viewed then,
Yeah, and
in
this is
being
how
able to
that-
remodel.
Yes,
Okay.
it's a remodel of a non-conforming structure, so
Yes.
they did not have to do anything to the existing structure, because you don't want to have someone tear down a structure just to conform to the current law if they don't have to. That would
Exactly.
be a pretty serious issue. So we worked with them on that issue to make sure it met the requirements.
Thank you. Yes, Mr. T. Miller again?
That's a quick question. The footprint of your building, is it going to be, how does it compare to what's The new footprint versus the existing footprint.
It's unchanged. We're not
It
adding
would-
any new square footage.
Okay, thank you.
Anyone else? Thank you, Ms. Curry. If you'll come back on Monday, we'll take action on this item. Item B, no, that's all. I'm finished. Thank you. I'm
Thank you.
sorry.
Oh, you're welcome.
Get out of the way.
I'll be calling you back in just a second. Okay, so now we'll move on to item 8, Parks and Recreation Committee. Chair and Vice Chair are not in attendance, so Councilmember Miller M., would you mind taking that committee, please?
Thank you, Madam Mayor. We have no business tonight under Parks and Recreation.
Thank you so much, Councilman Miller. We'll move on to Finance Committee. Councilmember Mark Adams.
Thank you, Madam Mayor. We have 4 items tonight to discuss under Finance. Item A is to authorize the city's payment of $75 per person for the admission and purchase of published materials for the Who's Who in Black Atlanta 18th Edition Awards Ceremony on September 21st, 2018 for the mayor and her guest. We have some information here in attachments. Who was going to discuss this? Is that you, Ms. Jackson?
Yes, Councilman Adams, I can discuss.
Go ahead.
So in committee's meeting, we discussed the mayor being honored at the Who's Who in Black Atlanta 18th Edition Award Ceremony on September 21st. The mayor initially she paid for her and her spouse to attend, and so she's asking to be reimbursed.
Only because this is something that that the mayor would not have known until she was nominated and asked to attend, and it's not something that she had put in her original travel plans for the year for the city to reimburse, correct?
That is correct. You can't budget if you don't know you're honored
Exactly.
for it.
Congratulations, Madam Mayor.
Thank
I
you
hope
so
it was a
much,
good
Mr.
event.
Chairman. It was an excellent
Great,
event, yes, sir.
great. Any question or comment concerning this?
The only other comment I would make is that if the city purchased the tickets just like we would do for Chamber of Commerce, Cultural Arts Council, or there was another one, Chamber, CAC, any of those events. Oh, Juneteenth.
Not a problem.
Typically we purchase a table, so.
Okay.
Thank you.
Any other question or comment? Hearing none, I'd like to ask that this be placed on the consent agenda for Monday. Next item, authorize the mayor to sign a contract amendment with AECom Technical Services Incorporated, eliminating certain tasks from the scope of work in existing city agreements with that firm, but retaining their services relating to SPLOSH-funded transportation projects. We do have an amendment there before us. Who would be handling that item?
I can help you, Mr. Chairman.
Thank you.
In summary, AECom will continue to work with us on our SPLOS projects, which are related to transportation. With regard to the parks projects and the other building projects such as sanitation and maintenance, they will turn over to us the studies that they've done and the plans that they've done, and they will continue to help us with those in the capacity of architect. They will do some services as architect, but otherwise they will end their scope of work with regard to those.
Okay. Any questions or comments? You see several items there that are specified in the information, the amendment to the agreement. Any question or comment of council? Okay, seeing none, we would ask that also be placed on the consent agenda. We've known that this was coming forward, and now that it's in writing and prepared, if there's no problem, I'd like to place this on the consent agenda. Next item. I'm sorry, pardon me just a minute. Lost my place. Item C, authorize the purchase of a table for the mayor at the Douglas County Board of Education Superintendent's Gala on November 3rd, 2018 for $1,000. I think that this is an item that we had discussed in our committee meeting earlier that really needs to be rewritten. This is not for the benefit of the mayor. This is for the benefit of the Board of Education. We do have a couple of attachments explaining what the proceeds would go to. And Madam Mayor, if you'd like to speak to this item specifically, please do.
Yes, sir. Thank you, Mr. Chairman. And I think that maybe the confusion was that the letter did come to me from the superintendent of schools, Superintendent North, but it was extended to the city of Douglasville to purchase a table to help with special needs for kids in the school system. And so this is something that, as Councilmember Dr. LaShawn Danley explained, that former superintendent Dr. Pritz had, but he didn't entitle it this same event. But it really is opening up to beyond private partners for people in the community to come together and help special needs to assist with them. So there are other council members have had conversations with superintendents, so I open the floor for them as well. But thank you so much for the opportunity.
Any other question or comment concerning the item? Seeing none, I would ask that this be placed then on the consent agenda for Monday night. One other item, item D, authorize the payment of $546.40 as travel expenses for airfare to and from Savannah, Georgia, plus reasonable expenses of a rental car at the event for the mayor to attend the Regional Leadership Institute meeting of the Atlanta Regional Commission starting September 30, 2018. Ms. Jackson.
Thank you, Councilman Adams. I'll ask Ms. Littlefield to take this item so you can explain a little bit better than I can.
Okay.
The mayor's expenses for this trip are already covered except for the airfare, and it's only because the airfare is needed here that it requires any council action. But she requires airfare in order to make other appointments, and so she's asking that it be approved.
Thank you very much. Any question or comment? I know we discussed this in committees. Any question or comment of council, and then we'll ask the mayor to speak. Go ahead, Mr. Mayor Pro Tem.
My understanding is the mayor has plenty of available funds in her travel budget, correct?
I would assume so, and I did not mention, but
Our finance director's shaking her, nodding her head.
that particular item would come out of the already budgeted travel expenses that the mayor has at her disposal. She's just chosen to use that amount of money for travel there by air rather than by automobile, and that's the reason we have to have that approved, because it is in-state travel but by air. Madam Mayor, do you want to speak to that?
That's all I was going to say, that it isn't anything additional. It's already taken out of my travel
That is
budget
correct.
that's allotted for each council member and myself. And so it isn't anything above and beyond. I just have other commitments, one being Douglas County High School homecoming football that I need to come back for. So I'm a panelist here at the Regional Leadership Institute, but I want to get back home so that I can help with that
Okay.
homecoming game.
Any other input? Any other comment or question? Thank you very much. I'd ask that be placed on the consent agenda for Monday night. That's all that we have, Madam Mayor. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Mr. Chairman. I appreciate it. We'll move on to Information and Technology Committee. That's chaired by Councilmember Miller T.
Thank you, Madam Mayor. We have no items under information and technology at this time.
Thank you so much, Councilman Miller. We'll move on to Maintenance and Sanitation Committee. That's chaired by Councilmember Chairman Michael Miller.
Thank you, Madam Mayor. We have no business tonight under maintenance and sanitation.
Thank you, sir. We'll move on to Transportation Committee. That's chaired by Councilmember Dr. LaShawn Danley.
Thank you, Madam Mayor. No items under transportation.
Thank you, ma'am. We'll move on to Personnel and Organization Committee. That's item 13. That's chaired by Mayor Pro Tem Richard Siegel.
Thank you, Madam Mayor. We do have one item. To adopt a resolution authorizing the mayor to sign contracts with Cigna Health and Life Insurance Company, Humana Incorporated, Blue Cross and Blue Shield of Georgia Incorporated, the Lincoln National Life Insurance Company, and Total Administrative Services Corporation as insurance carriers for city-sponsored employee insurance benefits for calendar year 2019, and stating the anticipated city contribution for each such employee benefit.
I'll ask that Ms. Talisha Champagne come down and talk to you more about us switching to Cigna and Blue Cross Blue Shield.
Good afternoon, Mayor and Council. Talisha Champagne, 6695 Church Street. If you remember, a few weeks ago, we came before in the committee meeting to talk a little bit about our calendar plan year, where we're moving from Blue Cross and Blue Shield for our medical plan, moving to Cigna, and also with our dental and vision, moving from Emeritus and IMED to Blue Cross and Blue Shield dental and vision. to include some other things that we were recommending for our plan year 2019. I would like to advise that we do have Mr. Randy Shaw here from Shaw Hankins, who's our broker, who will be able to answer any questions or concerns that you may have.
Comments or questions from Mayor and Council? Mr. Shaw drove all this way, so you got to ask him something.
No.
Go ahead, Madam Mayor.
Thank you so much. Thank you, Ms. Champagne and Mr. Mayor Pro Tem. Are you coming down, Randy? Or are you just going to stand? You just ask, you'll just respond if we need you to. All this will take place during open season, is that correct, in October? And will employees be able to keep their same primary care physicians and all of those specialties, or how does that work? Thank you, Mr. Shaw. If you can give us your name and address.
I'm 9 Bartow Street, Cartersville, Georgia, 30120.
Yes, sir.
The open enrollment is, I think all of y'all know that health insurance is the main thing, but the companies are shrinking. And you have like Blue Cross, Cigna, Aetna, Humana, United Healthcare. There's only a couple of more. And when you're talking about disruption, you have the open access, which is the biggest network that that Cigna has.
Mm-hmm.
And when a disruption report, I can say, I never say 100%, but 99.9% of all of your doctors right now that are in network
Mm-hmm.
will be in all those networks. There will be one here or there
Mm-hmm.
that won't be in the network, but you have the choice to use that doctor as an out-of-network basis or change to a doctor that's in. I don't anticipate any major those changes. It was just like when we moved, when you had Blue Cross before,
Mm-hmm.
you went to Kaiser, it was restrictive. It was a bigger deal then.
Yes, sir.
Then we moved back to Blue Cross, but you won't see any, and those are only on elective type of benefits.
Mhm.
Any emergency situations, you're in network anywhere you go.
That's good. That was, a concern. Of course, you've been with your physician. You'd like to stay with that same doctor or specialty.
And we have forms that we can run disruption reports that we'll be giving you at the educational meetings. If you don't take time and you put down your primary care and your specialist, then we can run and match those up and get back with you.
Thank you. Thank you, Mr. Shaw. Thank you, Mr. Mayor Pro Tem.
Anyone else?
Yes, Mr. Siegel, I just wanted to ask, because I don't remember, and I wanted our listening audience and viewing audience to know this. I know that we had several, at least we are in a position where we do have other companies that bid
Oh,
for the
absolutely.
service. We have had years when we didn't, but we chose to go with Cigna because they were the most similar to Blue Cross Blue Shield, but were less expensive than Blue Cross was going to charge us. Is that correct?
That's correct. From memory, I won't go, but I'll look on. Blue Cross and Blue Shield wanted to have a 16% rate increase. They did say they would come to 9% if you put all of your ancillary products, that being your life, disability, those with them. And when you put those with them, the cost went up and made realistically the rate increase was going to be like 12.8%.
Okay.
We did have a quote from one carrier that was lower, but we thought it too premature with the committee to go back to that carrier right now. Cigna came in at 3.7%, and when we used the ancillary products with Lincoln Financial and Blue Cross and Blue Shield, that drives that 3.7% rate increase to like 3.1%.
So we're looking at a 3.1% overall increase from our previous year, from this year.
That would be correct.
Okay. Thank you. Appreciate it,
Anyone else?
Mr. Chairman.
All right, not hearing anything else. If there is no objections, I'd like to put this on the consent agenda for Monday. That's all we have, Madam Mayor. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Mr. Mayor Pro Tem. We'll move on to Ordinance and Intergovernmental Committee. That's chaired by Councilmember Mike Miller.
Thank you, Madam Mayor. We have one item tonight, and that is to adopt an ordinance to amend Section 2.09 of the Charter of the City of Douglasville to revise the definition of contract appointee, to amend Sections 2.26 and 2.27 to revise terms of employment for the city manager, to amend revise terms of employment for the city manager, to amend 3.10 to revise job titles and terms for removal of municipal court judges, to repeal section 3.14 concerning pay schedules for the city employees, to amend sections 4.11, 4.12, and 4.13 to set annual terms of appointments for the municipal court judges, to revise terms for their removal from office, and to conform their sentencing authority to that allowed by state law. And I assume Ms. Littlefield will help us out with this.
Mr. Chairman, the proposed ordinance has been advertised now and it will require 2 adoptions. This would be your first. It is in the same form in which you approved it for advertisement. Basically, you will be allowing the city manager to be a contract employee. You will be setting 1-year terms for the municipal court judges after the first year, which will be approximately 1.5 years. You will expand the authority of the municipal court judges to that the maximum allowed by state law. And you will provide for their removal under state law, and that's pretty much it.
Okay. I know we've had several discussions on this in several different forums. If it pleases the council, I would request to have this placed on the consent agenda for Monday night.
If I could ask a question, Mr.
Sure you can. Sorry.
So we've changed now to going back to a 1-year appointment on the judges. Is that because of state law that is controlling that?
It is, Mr. Adams, you, within your charter, you can remove any appointee right now, or you could, and at any time you want to do that. And in the past, that has included your judges, but state no longer allows that. You have to remove them for cause, and there's a procedure to do it. The 1-year terms will give you an advantage there in that at the end of a term, you don't have to show cause to remove a judge if it simply expires.
So part of our change then is in order to align with state law and those changes?
Yes.
Okay. Okay, that's what I was looking for. Thank you. That's all. Thank you, Mr. Chair.
Any other comments or concerns, questions from the council? Mr. T. Miller? No? Okay. In light of the coverage that we have given this and communications involved with this, I would like to, if it meets the approval of council, I would like to have this placed on the consent agenda for Monday. All right. Madam Mayor, we have, that is all we have for tonight.
Thank you so much, Mr. Chairman. We'll move on to Education and Training Committee. The Vice Chair is Councilmember Dr. LaShawn Burdanley.
No items tonight, Madam Mayor. Thank you.
You're welcome. Thank you, ma'am. Communications Committee. Vice Chair is Councilmember Miller T.
Thank you, Madam Mayor. We have no items under communications tonight.
Thank you so much, sir. Is there any other business to come before council tonight from council members? Thank you. Not seeing any, then we'll continue with our agenda item 18. Our City Attorney, Mr. Joel Dotson.
No business tonight, Madam Mayor.
Thank you so much, sir. Chief Assistant City Attorney, Ms. Susan Littlefield.
A business, Madam Mayor.
Thank you, ma'am. That's not the chief over there. That's a deputy chief. Deputy Chief Shaw.
No business, Madam Mayor. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Deputy Chief. Assistant City Manager, Ms. Chelsea Jackson.
I don't have any business, Madam Mayor, but we do have a staff report.
Okay. All righty, I see that. Number 23. It's Breast Cancer Awareness Month, so that's going to be your staff reports? Okay, we'll have.
Yes, ma'am.
It doesn't say a committee. Oh, it's Human Resources. Okay, so we'll wait for that. Thank you, sir. That's my Mayor Pro Tem keeping me on target. Comments from citizens and delegates, item number 22. So we do have some citizens in the audience. If you'd like to come to address the council and myself, we'd love to hear from you. Please come forward and give your name and address for the record, and we'd be happy to hear from you, and you have 5 minutes. Mr. Sanders.
Good evening, everyone. How's everyone doing?
Good, thank you.
Great. I would like to just say...
What's your name, John?
John L. Sanders.
Address.
7611 Stonebridge Way, Douglasville, Georgia, 30134.
Yes, sir.
Okay. I just want to say thank you to the mayor and council and the first responders of what are you doing for the city of Douglasville and also the north side. The north side came a long way. I also want to just say, again, thank you for your commitment. And that's all I have to say, and I really do appreciate it. It comes from the heart. Okay?
Thank you. Thank you so much, Mr. Sanders. We appreciate it.
Yes, yes, Madam Mayor and Council. My name is Jesse Nation. My address is 8420 Chicago Avenue. And Madam Mayor and Council, I would also like to express my gratitude for your support of the north side of Douglasville. And I know that the tax allocation district vote is coming up this November the 6th, 2018. And how will you, Mayor and Council, decide on what and where the percentage of those funds will be allocated for economic development?
Are you asking me a question, Mr. Nation?
Yes.
We can't address the TAD, so we can't say whether it's up to the citizens it's on the ballot and we can't promote it, or, so once the citizens have made their decisions, then we will. But there is a section that's allocated for that. I don't know if I can let legal answer, but we're not supposed to support or say anything in support of TAD.
What you can't do is spend money and to promote it. You can say what your views are on it are.
Oh, so we can say the use is for development, of course. The district is already laid out. And who's our person that has all that? Is that Miss Patrice Williams? If you can come forward and tell Mr. Nation exactly where that. A lot of it is downtown.
Regarding the TAD area, or the redevelopment area that we're looking at, it encompasses from I-20 here on Fairburn Road. We pick up the downtown area, which is part of the downtown master plan, and then there's also an area of the north side that is included. It's not the entire focus area, but it is an area that we've included in the TAD map that we've been passing out to people.
Yes, sir.
In that area, does it go up Highway 92 north?
It does. It takes up some of Warren Avenue, Warren Road Avenue, over to Stewart Middle School is included as well. So it doesn't go all the way to north part of the focus area, but it does take up a good bit of the area on the north side as well.
I have a question. Thank you, Madam Mayor. Mm-hmm. Do you have any maps available for citizens who are asking?
Absolutely.
Okay.
We have the draft map because you haven't voted on that yet.
Right.
But the chamber has it as well, so we can definitely make it available to the public.
Yeah, I think that would be appropriate, considering that I know your presentation is coming up on the 15th. However, I think it would be nice if and more educational if people knew what they were looking at to vote on.
Absolutely.
Thank you, Ms. Williams. Does that answer your question, Mr. Nation?
Yes. Did I hear you say about, have you decided on what percentages of the funds would be allocated for which areas?
So that is not, we're not at that phase yet. We have to basically have the vote in November. Then there's an application process. So it's a little complicated. So you have to have developers who are interested that apply to participate in the program as well. And so there's a application that it will be approved by Mayor and Council that we will make available to the public for developers to participate in the program. But it's not necessarily dividing up money. That's not how it works per se. It is just making the area available for developers to build, to create development in that particular area. Because all the money goes back to a fund to pay down the bonds. So it's more in depth than what I can give you right now, but it's about paying down bonds.
Okay.
Okay, thank you, Ms. Williams. If you have any
Thank you.
further, yes, sir.
I invite everybody out to September Saturdays. This Saturday, there will be an information booth about tax allocation districts, and the people manning that booth have all sorts of experience discussing it.
Okay, and where will that be?
That would be at the Douglas County Courthouse from noon to 6 p.m.
September
or 11 to
7th,
5, somewhere in that area.
or September Saturdays.
September the 7th.
Yeah, September Saturdays,
September
this
Saturday.
Saturday.
This Saturday.
This
Yes, sir.
Saturday,
Okay, all
the
right.
29th.
All right, thank you.
Thank you.
All right, thanks for your time.
Thank you, Mr. Nation. Good evening.
Take much of your time. My name is Faye Dobbs Carter.
Yes, ma'am.
I'm at 8157 Carton Street in Douglasville. And again, I have to remind you all, that's the street I grew up on, that's the dirt that's in my skin, is Carton Street and the North Side. I support everything that Mr. Nation had brought up, and there are some things that we do have concern about, but we'll wait until it's time to discuss that again or to see what's coming forth. 92 has been on the map forever. We need to make it happen. Thank you so much.
Yes, ma'am. And we do have an upcoming meeting on 92, and I know it's been a long time, but you see some movement because something is happening. It's just growing pains right now. But we appreciate your concerns. Any other comments from citizens and delegates?
Madam Mayor, I'd just like to
Ma'am.
ask Chelsea, do you have the date, Chelsea, of the GDOT meeting in October?
I think it's the 29th.
Is the 29th, that's on a Monday?
It's the 29th.
I'll look that up for
I
you.
think
So
it's on
before
the
the end of the
29th.
meeting, I'll have the answer for you. Let me go back through my calendar.
The 29th at 6.
29th at
8.
6 here at the conference center.
Going to be at the Alice Hawthorne Center.
Oh, they changed? Okay, it's at Alice Hawthorne Center on the 29th from 6 to 8.
Yes, ma'am, that is correct. I just said October 29th.
Okay. Any other comments from citizens and delegates? Thank you. Not seeing any, then we'll move on to item 23, which is the staff report. There are some staff reports coming forward, I know, from Human Resources. Ms. Champagne is coming back.
Good evening
Good
again,
evening.
Mayor and Council. I do want to, Talisha Champagne, 6695 Church Street. I do stand before you just to provide you a brief overview of some of the human resources events that we're going to be having for the month of October. Coming up very soon, which is on next Monday, October 1st, we're having what we call a pink party in celebration of, as you mentioned, Madam Mayor, Breast Cancer Awareness Month. It's going to be out here at the parking garage. It is from 10 o'clock a.m. until 1 o'clock p.m., and that event is in collaboration with the Susan G. Komen Foundation. We do have T-shirts that we have ordered, so if you are going to be in attendance, if you'd like to be in attendance, we will have a T-shirt for you. The next event is the following Monday, which is on October 8th, is our Employee Appreciation Day. That's going to be held at the West Pines Golf Course. It does have a golf course theme. We have plenty of games, raffles, prizes, all good stuff, good fun, just to show employees just how much we appreciate them. And that event is from 10 o'clock a.m. until 2 o'clock p.m. We've mentioned a little earlier with regards to our open enrollment. So we do have our benefits education meetings that's going to start on October 9th in various locations. We have some that's going to be held at our police department, and then we have some of the meetings that will be held here at the conference center. We do have a special session just for our elected official, which is going to be on October 18th. So you can come out and be able to answer any questions that you may have with our broker. And then, of course, we have the actual enrollment sessions, which is the following week, and that's on the 16th through the 18th, where employees will be able to actually start enrolling and electing their benefits. And then lastly, we have on October 31st, Spook the Flu, where employees will be able to get their flu shots. We have Blue Cross and Blue Shield who will come out to support us on that event, and that is on October 31st. That is going to be at the police conference room.
Thank you. Ms. Champagne, what time the flu shots on the 31st? Not that I'm getting one, I'm just asking. I don't trust the flu shot.
Let me just check on the time for you real fast.
And then the other thing was October 1st, this coming Monday, the Celebration of Hope
Yes, ma'am.
is from 10 to 2.
The
but
Celebration of Hope is from 10 to 1.
10 to 1, but you
Yes,
didn't tell
ma'am.
us what it's for. It's car washes, right?
Yes, ma'am, it is
Okay.
car washes, yes, ma'am. And the Spook the Flu is gonna be from 9 a.m. until 12 noon.
From 9 to 12. And so those car washes, all those monies go to Susan G.
Yes, ma'am, they
Coleman
will
for
be
breast
there to
cancer.
take any donations that you may have.
Any questions? Open the floor for council members to ask about all these events that we have upcoming. Thank you so much, Ms. Champagne. We appreciate it. Is there any other business to come before council tonight? Thank you. Not seeing any, then this meeting is adjourned.